Revamping college football here at Mark Rogers TV. Please check out our introductory video of how we're going to restructure college football. The conferences, the scheduling, and also the college football playoff. They can all be improved, especially the conferences and the scheduling for sure. The scheduling is atrocious in college football. We take it out of the hands of the individual programs and we build a formula that makes it equitable. USC's not outplaying Alabama and Notre Dame, and Baylor's playing nobody. Okay, now we are going to break it down to the individual conferences and let you know what college football would look like under our plan. All right, let's start with the SEC. It has the least moving parts. So your new SEC looks much like the old SEC. So go back to 1991, look at the SEC, and that's the SEC that we will play with going forward, a 12-team SEC. So I'm looking at 12-team conferences and 9-game schedules. And again, I break it all down in the introductory video. So the new SEC is minus Missouri and Texas A&M. Have the additions of Missouri and Texas A&M helped the SEC? Well, I don't think it's really much mattered. SEC has been Texas A&M has been a fine addition to the West. Missouri won back-to-back Eastern Division championships. I don't see this program being able to compete consistently going forward. And for the good of college football, they need to be moved. It's not a detriment to the SEC. The SEC is not worse for having Missouri and Texas A&M, like the Big Ten is worse right now for having Maryland and Rutgers. But college football as a whole will benefit by moving Missouri and Texas A&M, and you will find out later where they will move. Okay, the SEC will look like this going forward. The West, Alabama, Auburn, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU, Arkansas, and the East, very familiar with Florida, Tennessee. And it's the current East. I don't have the list here, but Florida, Tennessee, Kentucky, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and Georgia. That is your SEC Eastern Division. And so let's get to the scheduling. So how do we schedule equitably? This is how we do it. So we will have 6 conferences, and you're going to find out the 6 conferences very soon. So you can imagine the Power 5 right now, but we have built another conference, and this makes complete geographic sense. And of course, again, watch the first video and you'll understand better what we're doing here. So the SEC looks like the SEC in 1991 with 12 teams. Okay, now we have 6 12-team conferences. What we're going to do is we're going to schedule equitably. So each team is going to have a 9-game conference schedule. They're going to have a 3-game non-conference schedule, and 2 of those 3 games are going to be played against the Power 5 or the Power 6. And the other game, they can schedule whatever they want against the Group of 5 or the FCS. And that schedule will be taken out of the hands of the programs, and it will be in this formula right here. So everyone will play 2 teams who totaled a 500 record the previous year. So everybody's schedule is equitable. You cannot predict how good or bad teams are going to be the coming season, but you can get close to an equitable schedule based on last year's results. So, for example, the SEC, the first year, will play the Pac-12 and the Big 12, and we will have challenge weeks where the SEC will play the Big 12, which will truly be a Big 12 with 12 teams, and the Pac-12 in another challenge week. So we will have these monumental weeks in college football in September where the SEC plays the ACC, 1 through 12, top to bottom. But here's the disclaimer. The teams that they will be playing will have a 500 conference record from the previous season. So we're not just going to play the heavyweights and then the lightweights are going to play each other. No, everyone gets an equitable schedule. This is not the NFL. We're not trying to create parity. We're trying to create equality and make an even playing field for everyone to compete. Therefore, the SEC in the first year of the format will go up against the Big 12 and the Pac-12. Alabama plays Oklahoma and Arizona. They play the best team in the Big 12 from last year. They play the worst team in the Pac-12. Auburn plays Oklahoma State and UCLA, a team that went 7-2 in the conference, a team that went 2-7, 9-9 overall record in the conference. of the two teams that Auburn will play next season. LSU plays West Virginia, Arizona State. On down the line, Mississippi State plays Kansas State and Oregon State, two teams that went, again, 6-3, 3-6 equals a record of 9-9. So the only reason this doesn't completely work the first season, this makes total sense, is because last year, the last season of the old system, you had 10 teams in the Big 12. You had 14 in 3 other conferences, so they can't be matched up. And the conference records are different because the Pac-12 plays 9 games and the Big 12 does as well, and the other conferences play 8. So you cannot establish a complete, perfect 500 record for the two non-conference opponents the first year. But after that, done deal. You will be able to easily do this for every team in the country. They will play 2 Power 5 teams or Power 6 teams that had a conference record of 500. So everyone will have an equitable schedule. That's the SEC. It's the SEC of 1991, the 12 teams minus Missouri and Texas A&M, and they will play in my first year of the format, the Pac-12 and the Big 12. And then that rotates. The next year, it might be the ACC and the Big 10 that the SEC would play non-conference, 2 of their non-conference schedules. If you have any questions, any comments, how to improve it, or any clarification, again, watch the first video to get the overall concept of improving the conferences and improving college football right here on Mark Rogers TV.